Now that the historical Paris Agreement has happened, it's time to move on to action. The words of Grenada's ambassador to the United States, Dr. Angus Friday. He says at this point, finance is important to move ahead.
This is where the World Bank, and under the World Bank, there's something called the Small States Forum. And Grenada, with the agreement of its CARICOM members and others, was invited to take the lead for the Small States Forum. This is something which is being led under the chairmanship of Prime Minister Mitchell, also in his role as Finance Minister. And so under the Small States Forum at the World Bank, it's a gathering of roughly about 40 countries of finance ministers in particular. And there's a heavy focus and emphasis on some of the key financial and economic challenges of small states, which includes, by the way, climate change and, of course, some of the traditional economic problems that we face.
Dr. Friday explains the costly challenges small island developing states face.
For these small island states is what we call the triple trap. And so that's the climate trap, where the impacts of climate change are basically reversing gains in the economy. The debt trap, as a result of some of the impacts of climate change, islands are having to go into debt. And it's not helped by what we call the third trap, which is the fossil fuel trap. And island states around the world, including Grenada, by the way, are using quite a lot of foreign exchange to buy gasoline and fossil fuel and diesel to run generators, and this is actually very expensive.
The issue of leadership and acquiring funding is important in transforming the economy and the environment. Eric Solheim, Executive Director of UN Environment, one of the agencies of the United Nations based in Kenya, met with Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell to discuss these issues.
One is Grenadian leadership among the small island development states, to set up better facilities for small island development states, for Grenada itself for sure, but for the much wider community of Caribbean and Pacific and other small island development states.
To Solheim, Grenada has the ability to lead in this area.
You have a very strong ambassador in Washington, which is key in this community. The Prime Minister has long experience and strong recognition outside Grenada also. So Grenada is in a position to take this global leadership to benefit its own citizens, but also to benefit both the Caribbean, Pacific and African small island development states.
Also discussed was Grenada's lead in the blue economy and the establishment of a Blue Economy Innovation Institute, which will be about spreading information on the protection of coral reefs and mangroves, among other initiatives. Joseph McKee-Smith, GBN News.